Welcome, everybody. This is D. Darrell Spears. Dempsey Darrell Spears is in the house, ready to get at it. It's been a while, guys. I want to let you all know that I've been kind of missing y'all asses, but at the same time, D. Darrell got to make money. D. Darrell practice is booming. D. Darrell mental health facilities are booming in Dallas and Houston. And you know D. Darrell is about that money. And also, guys, please check out my dating coach channel, Coach D. Darrell Spears. Check it out. It's fire. I got some new videos being released. I appreciate everybody that has subbed. Please get my subs up. Please leave comments in the comment section. D Darrell about to get into it tonight because we about to go at Umar Johnson trifling ass. Since you want to talk about black folks being trifling, since you want to go in on what the black community is supposed to be doing and what he's not, Umar Johnson is falsely advertising himself as a psychologist. Brother, give it up. You're not a licensed clinician. You are a certified school psychologist who is not functioning as such in a school environment. You are not a practicing psychologist. Let it go. Let it go. Please let it go. And I do understand. I understand that the layman, the average person that's not in mental health, would not understand this. Now, I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Amiri Brown for doing the interview on Umar Johnson. I want to give a shout out to We On Lock for doing the interview with Umar Johnson. But let's be honest. Those interviews were bullshit. The interviews were motherfucking bullshit because nobody wants to talk about the real issue. I don't want to hear about how Pan-African you claim you are. I don't want to hear about the work that you claim you're doing. How many times do I have to listen to an Umar Johnson interview and he has to go into the fact that you got 6 fucking degrees? I think we have established that, myself included, who was part of the fold, who established that. Why is it necessary for you to talk about having 6 degrees? Why is it necessary for you to talk about being the most requested this and the most requested that? How many times do we gotta hear this dumbass shit? But then when we want to talk about the real goddamn question, the real issues about the school, about educating black boys, where are the answers? Now, I'm going to say this, We On Lock. And I'm going to give a shout out to everybody because I see my people are in here. And I appreciate you all for coming in and supporting me because I don't go live like I used to, guys. I can't do it right now. I was propelled to do this interview. I know We On Lock. I know you may not be happy with me doing this interview, but it must be said. Tiffany Griffin, I know you sitting there in the West Coast doing your thing, baby. I feel you, but Umar is bullshitting. Also, that lame ass video that Make a Change did that proved nothing, brother. You could have saved that video for another. You could have did a video on somebody else. If you all check out that video that Make a Change did, I'm like, what the point was that shit about? What was that about? Make a Change did a video today or yesterday. I'm like, what did that video prove? Who was working and who was not working? This brother went out his way to research the color of the fucking worker's hat. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what is this? Shout out to Amiri Brown. Amiri, in respect to Amiri Brown, Amiri did respectfully ask me to come on the panel. I declined because I know, I'm going to say this to the Umar Johnson sector, to the manosphere, because I know the manosphere don't want to fuck with Umar. I get that. And for legitimate reasons, which is actually telling the truth about the manosphere, and I get that because I wholeheartedly agree with him about the manosphere. However, guys, I must have you understand that you can't go around criticizing others that and lack thereof in the black community when you yourself, Umar Johnson, has been guilty of pumping and dumping conscious strippers. You, brother, got two black women pregnant and you didn't marry either one of them. So you're in no position to tell any black man how they supposed to be treating black women. You're in no position to do so, Umar Johnson. Now, I actually told the Umar Johnson, the FDMG donor group on Facebook. 'Cause I'm on Facebook doing my thing. I've been focusing a lot on the dating coaching. That's been pretty much. I don't have time to live stream. I was lucky to be able to do a live stream today, but and also I'm interviewing with my girl. I want y'all to give a shout out to my girl Doe Eyes TV. This is my girl right here. She does some excellent content. For those that don't know Doe Eyes TV, please check her out. Please subscribe to her channel. I've been on her channel twice. I've talked about PTSD. I will be on her channel again on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central to talk about other mental health illnesses, particularly domestic violence. And you all know that I have had a history of talking about mental health because that's what I do. I'm the professional that nobody wants to listen to, but they always email in when they want a question. People want free therapy. People want 3 consultations. And I've been giving it to them for the most part. But shout out to my girl Doe Eyes. Please subscribe. Can she get at least 5 or 10 new subscribers? Check out my sister. She does good content. She also does sports content because you know she a Dallas Cowboy fan. Check out my sister. What's up, Queen, aka Miss Sunkiss? I've been seeing you, girl. You've been killing me with your content. I've been laughing. You got me laughing. I watch you on Facebook. I see you on YouTube. You be roasting this and everything, girl. You something else, but I enjoy you. What's up, Pillsbury? Quiet Storm, how you doing? Betty Yolik, how are you doing today? Good to see you. What's up, Slewfoot Slim? Binary in the house. Binary. Be honest with you, Binary. When I saw your video, when I saw your reaction, that actually what propelled me to do my reaction. Because I know the thing about it, I know you did a We on Lock because you know We on Lock, but I know Amiri Brown. See, I actually posted on my community tab and on Facebook for you all to check out the Umar Johnson Amiri Brown interview. Now, I understand the sector don't, they'll deal with who they want to deal with, and if you're not really in the sector, they're not really trying to hear you like that. Unfortunately, we got some, as far as we got people who are sharp-minded about things. But I want y'all to see this. I'm going to show you all a little bit. And I'm like, did Amiri ask relevant questions? Yes, he did. I don't know the level of Amiri's research on Umar. I don't think it's as thorough as the sector itself. He did ask me to come up. I know Chaos Rain know that I'm big on Umar Johnson. What's up, We on Lock? Yeah, I gotta come on, We. I know you got the interview. I know Umar is Pan-African, but look, and then Binary Code pointed out. Code Fam pointed out some hesitancy in Umar's discussion, hesitancy in Umar's interaction about things, about the relevancy of the school. I get that. But the bottom line, guys, we have no timeline. We have no goddamn timeline. And I'm sick and tired of you doing the same repetitive ass interview over and over and fucking over. The same repetitive ass interview, saying the same repetitive ass shit, and we're getting the same repetitive ass results. That's what's going on. I'm tired of pussyfooting around when it comes to Umar Johnson. I really am, because it's the same goddamn shit over and over. And it's nothing different. And I told you all that every now and then I will do an Umar Johnson video if I feel it is relevant and needed. This is the opportunity. This particular situation over the last few weeks of Umar Johnson doing content with content creators that I know, I felt that it was only necessary for me to engage in this conversation. It appears to me that Umar has an answer. He has an answer. He has an answer for every goddamn thing except for when the school is going to open and the whereabouts. No offense, you my brother. I love you to death, and you know I got your back no matter what you mean. This is not anything. This is not about you, We Unlock. This is about Umar Johnson. This is not about the way you interview. I have no issues, We Unlock, with the way that you interviewed Umar Johnson. I have no issues with anything in regards to how you conducted yourself. You conducted yourself appropriately for the situation. The bottom line is that Umar Johnson is not talking about the relevant issues that people really want to know. We don't give a damn about what you achieved. I don't care about what you claim you are. You're the greatest this and okay, you can believe whatever you want to believe. I want to hear, this is where we are with the school. This is how much money we have. This is how much money we spent. This is how much taxes I've spent. These are the liabilities. This is the balance sheet. This is the curriculum. We're going to open up at an estimated time. If I'm not hearing anything relevant than that, I don't want to hear about you and Cynthia G. I don't give a damn about that bullshit ass interview that you did on on Fox Soul. Yes, they were wrong for hijacking you again. Yes, they were wrong for having you speak and calling a transsexual man, a transsexual female, beautiful, and all that other good shit. Whatever you were saying that you typically say to black women, and you thought she was a black woman. And yes, that was a surgically altered male, as you pointed out on Amiri's channel. Good for you. Yes, you sent a letter out. Yes, you said you're not going back. Yes, you did embarrass Cynthia G intellectually. Whoop-de-doo. Cynthia G is not an intellectual. Cynthia G is a goddamn YouTube fanatical, feminist, whatever else, what a name you want to call her. And she's out of touch with reality on YouTube. Yes, she's successful at what she does, and Fox Soul has a habit of putting unqualified people to talk about issues that they have no credibility in, which was evident of what happened on that interview with you and the three other people on Fox Soul. Yes, we don't need you to repeat that over and over and over again. And I'm going to send the link for those that want to come up and want to question me about this. We Unlock, you're happy to come up if you like. Anybody has the ability to come up and chop it up. Because I don't run away from anybody. Now, I'm going to say this, guys. Amiri Brown did ask me to come up on this interview. I refused to. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Number one, I refused to because I know me. And I'm going to tell you what was going to happen if I would have got on that goddamn interview. I would have blew it up. That's what happened. I would have asked Umar the questions that he did not want to answer, and it would have turned to fuckery. And I'm gonna be honest with you, there would have been people in the manosphere who wouldn't have not believed what I did and would have made content off of it. And also the Umar Johnson sector would have went crazy if I would have did that shit. Me and Umar Johnson one-on-one on Amiri Brandon's channel, because that's what would have happened if I would have took the link. I did not. I told Amiri, no, brother, I'm just going to sit back and listen. Because I'm going to let you all know, I was not going to ask Umar about mental health questions. I was not going to ask Umar about a Fox Soul interview. I was not going to ask you about the book that you had no cited references. I'm not going to ask you about the goddamn festival. And I was not going to ask you about the goddamn Umar Johnson sector. I'm not in the Umar Johnson sector anymore. The sector that I pretty much inadvertently created, almost. At least one side of it. Again, we unlock. This is not anything. I have nothing disparaging to say about you, brother. You already know. If you need me, I'm there to talk to you. You send me the links to stuff, I check it out. You sent me the link to the interview. I didn't even watch it live. I watched after it was over with. It was, listen, I get it, brother. You did what you had to do. You secured an interview with Umar. Umar has been on multiple channels on YouTube doing interviews, talking about the same stuff over and over again, except for what needs to be talked about. Okay? Let me give a few shout-outs before I continue. What's up, RNT Entertainment? Shout out to Doe Eyes, we unlocked. What's up? That's my Bike Punch 89. Muslim in the house, living life to the fullest is up in here. Conscious Energy in the house. Oh, it's going down tonight, man. Binary up in the house. Quiet Storm. We got everybody up in here. Faith Factor. Faith, how you doing, Queen? Oh, by the way, Faith, that was a very nice picture I saw that you posted up. I see you, getting in your healthy bag and you not eating sugar and all that different stuff, and it's definitely suiting you well. It's definitely suiting you well, sister. I need to follow. What's up, Wally? Now, let's get back to the shit. Miss Furlough, it's my sister right there. Definitely watching you from the clouds. Definitely watching you from the clouds. Ray Triggs, what's up, Ray? What's up, brother? How you doing? What's up? Good to see you in here. Now, what you see right now is my boy Chaos Rain, who is in the chat right now. You see Umar up in here. You see Amiri Brown. Amiri Brown is at the top left. Shout out to Amiri. Look, man. Listen, I want everybody to understand this. What's up, Nova Real Show? I see the Umar Johnson sector up in here. I see the black sector of YouTube in here. I see some manosphere people in here, as expected. They got the church sector in here. We got all kind of sectors in here. Chaos, I can go as deep as I need to go. Again, I want to preface the fact that this is not an assessment of the interviewers. Because I understand Umar Johnson may do interviews with preconditions. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I never asked Chaos Rain about it. I never asked Amiri Brown about it. I refuse to come up because I'm going to be honest. I was going to flip the fucking switch and say, Umar, can you please talk about the financial status of the school? Umar, can you please talk about the curriculum of the school? Umar, can you please talk about any legalities in relation to the functioning of the goddamn school. What's up, Miss Murph? Umar, what is the viability of using a donation only model once the school is operational? No. I want you to understand this constitution. I don't deserve Umar's. Everybody claims that feel like I deserve an Umar Johnson video. I don't. I'm gonna say this. I don't deserve anything. I don't deserve an Umar Johnson interview. I don't deserve it. I'm gonna tell you why I don't deserve it. Because I don't need it. Having an Umar Johnson's interview with preconditions to not talk about the school, to not talk about the real shit, to not talk about the stuff that your flaws and faults that you have engaged in on YouTube. Come on. That's the facts. That's the facts. That's the facts. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve shit. I get what I get. I'm not begging no motherfucker for why. First of all, let me let you all understand this. I don't have to beg for a goddamn thing. I don't have to ask for a goddamn thing. I want y'all to understand this. I don't have to lie about my credentials. Do you see D. Durrell claiming to be a clinician at a certain level that I'm not? I don't have to say I'm a psychologist when I'm not a psychologist. D. Durrell is a licensed mental health therapist, master's level clinician, because D. Durrell is a licensed clinician. D. Durrell don't have baby mamas. D. Durrell has one wife with 3 children. You can't talk about the black community healing families. You can't talk about the black community having head of households with respectful and responsible males, and you didn't provide that for the 2 women that you pumped and dumped and got and had children for. You can't do that, Umar Johnson. See, this is the difference. This is why I will never get an interview. This is why I will not beg anybody for anything, because I am of high esteem. I don't need Umar Johnson to validate me, because my position in real life and what I have achieved is, and emphatically, at a higher level that Umar Johnson could ever wish he could be in his life with 6 degrees. Umar Johnson has not utilized those 6 degrees to do anything meaningful in life. Until the school comes into fruition, we have nothing to talk about. Until you give us the real data, the real information about the goddamn finances, any legalities, the actual corporate structure, what do we have to talk about? What do we have to talk about? We can get your analysis on anything. Yes, you can talk about your oratorical skills. Great, that's wonderful. You're a great orator. Barack Obama was a great orator. I mean, a great orator, I'm sorry. He was a great orator. And what did that get us? Listen, I am speaking from the heart. I'm speaking because, listen, I donated. I got a right to fucking speak because I gave money. You see, you can't say to me, well, I'm only talking to the donors and this conversation is strictly for those who donated. See, I'm not a person like in the Umar sector where you got half the sector never gave a dime to Umar, the FGMG Academy. Therefore, their legitimacy to complain is unfounded. I gave thousands. I gave at least 2 to 3 thousand over a 8-year period. I have a fucking right to say whatever the fuck I want to say about Umar, and he really can't say shit about it, particularly if it's grounded in truth. Now, the facts of the matter is, I'm saying this because he is bullshitting around YouTube right now. He's becoming more of a social media influencer than an actual educator and mental health professional. The energy that has been invested in doing interviews, whether they're paid or not, I gotta make your money. Make your money. Make your money, Umar. But if your energy was geared towards the viability of the FDMG Academy, we would be further along in the process. You see, I believed that the school could potentially open. If he wouldn't have engaged in the antics, the irresponsible antics that he engaged in, more people would have seen Umar Johnson as not being clownish. More people would have not seen Umar Johnson as being a joke. Yes, what's up? Let me see your transcript. Yes, he's doing TikTok. He's on doing videos about trending topics, but he's not talking about the true topic. The true topic at hand is the goddamn school. Now, I want you to hear, because I'm going to, let me know how the sound goes. I want you all to hear the level of questioning that was given. I want you all to hear the level of questioning that was given, and you will understand where I'm coming from.
They in the chat room talking.
Yes.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all doing with a special broadcast for the Amiri Brown Show? We got a intellectual Pan-Africanist heavyweight on the panel tonight for a lively interview. Talking about all things intrinsic to the Black experience, school to prison pipeline, things of that nature. So Chaos, I'm gonna let you go ahead and say what you have to say.
Ouais.
Nisha,
But-
you can come in and say something, and then we'll get to the interview. Just ask you where do you fall on that? What do you think about the reparations movement?
Let me stop there. Why the hell are we talking about reparation? Who wants to hear Umar Johnson talk about reparation? In the chat right now, please give me a 1 if you want to hear Umar's Pan-African opinion, his Pan-African perspective on reparations. Press 2 if you don't want to. You care less about what Umar and his Pan-African perspective towards reparation. Who gives a damn? Listen, this is not about Amiri Brown. Amiri Brown has the right. Shout out to, because Amiri, that's my brother. I love his channel. I know him from another space. We in another sector. I go to his channel all the time. This is not about Amiri. This is about Umar Johnson. But see, I understand this was preconditions. This was all preconditions. So this is not Amiri's fault. This is the bullshit that Umar does because this is what Umar wants to wants to be deceptive and hide around stuff like this. But listen to his response.
Well, reparations is not an ADOS thing. It is not an FBA thing. The reparations movement itself comes out of the history of Pan-Africanism. If you study the history of the movement, you will find that many of the fathers of that movement were the first proponents of reparations. That is not a new thing. It did not evolve in the past 3-4 years. The problem is.
Let me stop you right there. Notice how Umar Johnson related that reparations stemmed from Pan-African roots. That's a goddamn lie. And I'm a Pan-African. Reparations esoterically grew out of the black church. The black church wanted reparations. The black church that fueled our ability to survive slavery. The black church that fueled our ability to educate our children. The black church that basically spiritually uplifted us through the civil rights movement, Reconstruction, Jim Crow. The black church, along with other people, other segments of the black community that were not Christian. It was not Pan-Africanism that was at the forefold of reparation. That's a lie. That's a lie. The black church is the black church is the heart of African American culture, not Pan-Africanism. Most black people are not Pan-African. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go off a limb and say that, and I don't agree with this because I am Pan-African. Less than 10% of black people actually give a damn about uniting with other African people throughout the world. If you ask the average black person, they do not want to go to Africa. They do not want to unite with the Afro-Latino, the Caribbean. Because I know, because I talk to people and I'm Pan-African. They don't. And let's be honest, Africans on the continent, indigenous Africans, care less about being Pan-African. They're trying to worry about having basic needs to live and function another day. Most black people, most Africans are not Pan-African. I wish we were. I wholeheartedly wish that we were, but the reality is that we're not. So quit with this. So this is being intellectually dishonest, and I get it. See, this is no different than the Nation of Islam telling you that joining the Nation of Islam and becoming a Muslim is the key to our liberation. This is no different than the Moors saying that being a Moor and I'm not African is a key to our liberation. This is no different from a Kemetic. This is no different than a Hebrew Israelite. Same thing for the Pan-African. Instead of utilizing our areas of black thought, black unity in segments as it involves certain groups, we have this propensity to try to elevate one above the other, thus causing nothing but infighting. Now, did I agree with him for saying that we can't look to other people to give us money to solve our problems? I do agree with that. But at the same time, we cannot, just not be totally correct. I mean, you have to be correct and not be dishonest about how things come about and how one ideology is the catalyst for why something happened. That is just historically incorrect.
Many within the YouTubian community are not very well read on our history or in the history of reparations. So it gets attached to one or two people. Reparations is as old as Pan-Africanism. It is as old as the slave trade. It is as old as African colonization. Again, it's not a new movement. Marcus Garvey himself, the most honorable Marcus Garvey, is the father of modern reparations because he was the first one to go to the League of Nations way before there was a United Nations to demand that the former German colonies be turned over to African people from the diaspora so we can go back to Africa and create a new civilization for ourselves. So Pan-Africanism, again, is not an ADOS thing. It's not an FBA thing. It actually comes out of the Pan-Africanist movement.
Right. And the other thing I actually wanted to lead with this, but it kind of slipped my mind. Now, of course, everybody knows what happened with, Fox Soul and that whole shit show, for the lack of a better word. Let me ask you this: in terms of the YouTubian sphere and YouTubian community, what do you think?
He keeps saying this thing about the YouTubian, but Umar, you became hot off of the YouTubian. And I'm going to say this. The person that gave Umar the most publicity was anti-Afro Spangali Andrea Michelle Stewart. And from her psychotic means of lying on Umar, I may say, others caught on. And yes, Sinetta did introduce Umar to the world. But it was through her and others that for anybody to research Umar or know anything about Umar, it was anti-fraud warriors who advertised Umar. They gave him good and bad publicity, which can be seen as good publicity. But let's continue.
A transgendered person. Let me know that there's going to be a surgically altered male in the conversation. And I'll say this and I'll shut up. Black women need to be careful. And the reason Black women need to be careful is because they are co-signing this surgically altered male movement that they refer to as transgendered woman. There's only one type of woman in the world, and that's the woman who has a menstrual cycle, and that's a woman who carries and gives birth to a child. You cannot be a woman if you were not born one, according to Dr. Umar Ifatunde. So that was not a transgendered woman because there's only one type of woman. Hope Giselle doesn't have a menses. Hope Giselle cannot carry a child. Hope Giselle is a surgically altered male, a man imitating a woman.
I'm going to say this with all due respect. Who gives a damn? What does this have to do with the school? Who gives a damn? I don't give a shit about Gazelle. I care less about her trying to take over Black women's movement and acting as if he was never a man in his life. Let him deal with his surgically, whatever you want to call it, on his own. That is his business. I don't give a damn. I'm going to let Black women handle Hope Gazelle or whatever he claimed to be or she claims to be. I'm going to leave that to Black women to not allow a surgically altered Black man to take up and try to lead your cause. So let me see your transcript. Just the top right is the brother Amiri. My brother Chaos Reign is in the chat. I was asked to come up during the interview towards the middle end. I chose not to because I understand if I would have came up there, it would have changed the whole personality of the interview. And I didn't want to disrespect my brother Amiri's channel because if I would have got up there, hell was about to break loose. But Umar would have left that channel if I would have came up. He would have left.
When you pay for a man's bread and butter, when you pay for a woman's rent, when you pay for the clothes on their back, when you provide the money for the food that goes in their mouth, you then have their attention and you can then dictate their behavior. The only other way you can dictate behavior beyond Employing someone is to educate someone. And that's why educating our children is so fundamentally important towards transforming the collective psychology of Black people, which will and then lead to a transformation in economic behavior. Education and economics are the right foot and left foot of any liberation struggle. You can look at the Russian Revolution. You can look at the German Revolution. You can look at the Chinese Revolution, the Vietnamese Revolution, the Cuban Revolution, the American Revolution.
We talking about revolutions. We're talking about liberation. But all I want to know is, what is the status of FDMG Academy? See, we're getting into all of these sophisticated and nuances of other topics. All I want to know is, what is the viability of FDMG Academy? What is the viability? What is the viability?
Destroyed and replaced with religious beliefs. And we are the only people in this country who do not have a cultural platform and paradigm. You can only get the Negro to do something if you bring Jesus into the conversation or Muhammad into the conversation.
And that is lie. It's true. It's true. It's true.
Nigga sell their mom out for white Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And look, Martin Delaney.
Know that.
If we are so in love with Black Wall Street, why we don't have a single Black Wall Street in existence right now? You have 50 states, 50 million Africans. That's on average 1 million Blacks per state, and there's nowhere you can go. There's nowhere you can go in this country and find a Black-owned school, Black-owned bank, Black-owned hospital.
Stop the goddamn press. How the hell you in a position? You're in no position to say what we don't have in the Black community, where you're failing to actually get something started yourself. How you going to criticize I can't go nowhere to find an independent Black school when you haven't opened up the independent Black school and you've been trying to do this for 8 years? How are you going to talk about the independent Black hospital, the independent Black bank, the independent Black, engineering firm and political group, all of these things you claim that we need? And yes, we need to have those things as far as grocery stores, transportation, everything to be self-sufficient. But you're in no position when you're right now struggling to get a school open. Let's focus on self before we try to make an attempt to criticize others for something that you're failing to do on your own. You're failing to do this on your own. So how are you going to talk about the lack of the community when you are failing every year that this school is not open? Umar Johnson is failing the Black community. Every year that this school is not open, Umar Johnson is taking the money and exploiting the desperation of single Black women with young boys who they are unable to effectively control and parent. I know. You know why? Because I do it for a living. I know. You know why I know? Because I'm a real mental health professional who actually has a license to do what I say that I can do. I know because early in my career, particularly early in my career, 95% of my clientele was African American young boys. Right now, 95% of my foster care clients are Black males that are diagnosed with behavioral issues. I'm not going to get too much into the mental health stuff. But I have the credentials, the education, the practical experience, the business experience to talk on this shit because I do it every day. And I got people who are on my payroll that are getting paid a pretty penny to provide these services to our community. That's why I can speak on this. I don't have time to do interviews on YouTube. One of my biggest struggles of being a YouTuber is the fact of lack of time. And understanding my business comes first. I don't care if I was making money off of this or not.
Black-owned supermarket, not subsidized by the government, not paid for by Walmart. You understand? Totally Black-owned. You can't find that nowhere in the country, but yet we claim we love Black Wall Street so much. We have to stop being historical and political hypocrites.
Yeah.
How can you sit here and tell anybody you have to quit being historical hypocrites when your ineptitude of the FDMG Academy is hypocritical in itself? Your functioning of this school has been embarrassing. The state of the FDMG Academy is in peril, but yet you want to criticize the community for what they should quit being hypocritical of, and you can't get the school operational. The lack of donations is because of your behavior and your lack of leadership and your inability to accept help from other Black people who are willing to give you help. This is what you are doing, Umar. You have no right to criticize the Black community until you have actually shown some signs of success in what you have claimed to as far as your goals. Achieve your goal, become functional, show us how to do it, then you have a right to complain about something. The Black community has no reason to listen to you because you have not succeeded in your goal. You have made one financial disastrous mistake after another. And there's so many answers. There's so many questions that are unanswered. So many questions that are unanswered. It is ridiculous. But yet you want to criticize the Black community. The same Black community has given you over $1 million+ for this school that has yet to open. But you want to criticize the Black community.
Right.
Letter writing, meeting behavior, tips, tactics, federal laws, state laws, and local procedures. So anybody who's interested in being a parent advocate or just knowing how to better advocate for their children, they should come to Philadelphia on Saturday, November the 19th. And for more information, feel free.
Now he's advertising trainings that he's engaging in.
To text my cell phone because I know who she is. I know who she has been. And I know that her agenda for my people today is worse than what it was during slavery. See, we have had 4 great periods in our sojourn in this country. Okay? 400 years dating from British North American enslavement, because we were here before that, but dating from European originated oppression. Our first struggle was the struggle for humanity. Our second struggle was a struggle for liberty. Our third struggle was a struggle for equality. This struggle we're in now, beautiful sister, is not for humanity. It's not for liberty. It's not for equality. It's for survival.
Again, well put, eloquently stated, but it don't change a goddamn thing. You have produced no solution, no strategies. The school itself is supposed to be a seed in which is planted that can produce better black males. But yet we're not talking about that. We're talking about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We're talking about our historical past that we have survived for slavery, Jim Crow, Reconstruction. The crack epidemic, the wars that we fought in World War I, II, Vietnam. But we're talking about that, but we're not talking about the school. Why are we not talking about the school? Yes, Umar is knowledgeable. But if the knowledge is not put in application to produce a beneficial outcome, what's the point of having the knowledge? The knowledge is not useful at that point. What has Umar done that has been useful to the black community?
America is preparing to bury the African. And that's why when we have these reparations trenches and do it.
And see, let me say one other thing. And see, this is my other issue with talking about the See, he goes back to the reparation. See, this is about Tariq Nasheed and this is about Yvette Carnell, which both of these people have had issues with Umar Johnson. See, when he brought up ADOS and FBA, he's throwing jabs at them because both of these people have had issues with Umar Johnson. And it is about Umar Johnson's behavior. It is about Umar Johnson's inability to open up a school and to provide transparency to the public, to the donor like me. See, I'm a donor. You see, he can't tell me you ain't never gave no goddamn money because that's as I gave a great deal of money. I supported him financially and the school. I did that. See, that's the difference. See, this is what separates me from everybody else. Because I was in the struggle. What's up, the Oracle? How you doing, Queen? Now let me continue. Then I'm gonna go to We on Lock. Shout out to my brother Amiri Brown once again for doing a great interview.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things I've
pastoring this church. The reason you got 1 million grassroots organizations, the reason you got 1 million black churches, the reason you got 1 million community organizations is most black men are too insecure in themselves to coexist with another strong black man.
Wait one goddamn minute. I know this Negro didn't sit here and describe himself. Was going to project upon other black men the same behavior. You mean the man who refuses to accept help from other strong, intelligent black men? You mean the man who refuses to get along with other key figures on YouTube that are in the Black Power movement? How can you sit there and hypocritically express yourself in such a disingenuous manner and you're guilty of the very thing? It is your ego, Umar Johnson. It is your ineptitude. And in some instances, I would say certain small levels or pockets of narcissism in your behavior that has been the downfall of the FDMG Academy. I'm talking about the goddamn school. That's the reason why when Amiri asked me, I chose not to come up, because this is the rhetoric that was talked. These are the questions. This is the atmosphere. I was not about to waste my time having discussions and talks about the shit that don't matter. The stuff that people don't want to know. We can get anybody to talk about Black liberation. We could get anybody to talk about Black historical facts. Let's continue.
To the phone calls you make home, to the buses who take grandmom up to the prison to see her grandson 10 hours away. People are making millions of dollars off Black children being miseducated and Black men being incarcerated. The only people who are going to solve our problems are ourselves. And that's dangerous because it don't look like we're interested or that we will be interested anytime soon.
That's what I was about to say. Like when you...
Now, again, you want to talk about incarceration and Black male failure. And then right now, you are failing at the school. Notice, no solutions were provided. It was just eloquently crafted bullshit. Yes. We've heard this. How many years do we have to hear this shit? See, this is no different from Lennon Honor. This is no different from KKC. This is no different than Andrew Michelle Stewart. This is no different than anybody who has made a living off of the Umar Johnson name, including himself, because he has also benefited. He has also benefited from his antics. So I'm going to do one more snippet and then I'm going to move forward.
In fact, our propaganda campaign against each other within the race is probably more effective than the one being financed against the race.
Mm-hmm. Correct. But like I said, Mary, and Dr. Umar, when we got
anything y'all could give is appreciated. I know I'm going to donate.
And for the parents out there who need help with their children, I haven't had a Black parent teleconference in a while. Again, I know I'm overdue. School is in session, and I need to do that teleconference because not every parent is going to pay for the help that they need. But for parents who do need to reach me, if you got issues about...
Notice you said, I know every parent is not going to pay for the help. See, look, man, listen, I get it. I go in the hood and counsel and provide in-house, virtual, in-office therapy, creating behavioral management plans, going into the... I've been in the IEP meetings, the 504 accommodations. I've done that. You are not the only one who is functioning at a professional level in these environments. That's why you need to quit calling yourself a psychologist, because you're not a psychologist. Because you're being disingenuous and having people think. When people think of a psychologist, they're thinking of a clinical psychologist. They're not thinking about a certified school psychologist, which certified is just the ability to operate under a title in a certain environment. When you say you're a psychologist, people are assuming that you're practicing as a clinical psychologist. For the facts. One more snippet and I'm out.
And up for all day. And me too.
That's it.
All right, family.
We gotta do this again too.
Okay.
Dr.
Thank you,
Umar,
Dr.
right?
Umar.
Any
Stuff like that. I hope we can do this again in the future.
And I commend you because, to be honest with you, brothers, I expected some fuckery at some point in his.
You see, he expected fuckery, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have given him the fuckery if I would have, because I got the link. Amiri gave me the link. Chaos Reign gave me the link. It would have been fuckery if I would have brought my ass on that panel, but I chose not to because out of respect for Amiri, because Amiri does not understand the history that I have with as far as the Umar Johnson saga and the sector itself and everything that involves that. So I'm not going to put him in a position to be in the middle of something on this platform. I refuse to do that. He's a good brother. You don't need to. I don't need to make my miss his miss. Okay. So I just wanted to highlight that. I'm going to send the link out at this point. For anybody that wants to come up, you can come get the link. If you got something to say, if you like or dislike what D. Darrell got to say, please let me know, and we can chop it up. Now I'm gonna go to the We Unlock situation. Now I want y'all to understand, my brother We Unlock. This is not. I have nothing but good things to say about my brother. Okay, because I understand that Umar Johnson obviously gives preconditions. It's obvious. These are preconditions. Hold on one second, Chaos Reign. These are preconditions because he's not going to, just like he gave me preconditions when he, I would say, reluctantly agreed to potentially do a interview with me. He gave me preconditions. It's facts. Everybody saw it because I showed it to the world. What's up, brother?
That's good, man. That's good, man. Hey, so I take it you watched the whole entire stream before
yes,
you came?
I did.
Okay. You know, it's interesting. To really ask the more deeper questions, in my mind, it is a necessity, personally. But as I look,
was it a necessity?
Not for the first time, but when I think about it,
yeah, it was a necessity. Yes, it was a necessity.
Yes.
Because I'm explaining to you why it was a necessity. Is because when people talk about Umar Johnson, at this point, we're not talking about his degrees. We're not talking about Pan-Africanism. We're not talking about the stuff. Yes, I understand the latest situation with the Cynthia G. Fox Soul thing. Yeah, that could be relevant. But the main topic is about the status of the school. And in the sector, look, I was in the Umar Johnson sector. I was in other sectors that talked about this all the time. People who did content on this guy daily. They don't want to hear about this other stuff because they've heard it before. Everything that Umar Johnson, look, now I'm gonna say this again. This is not anything against you, Chaos or Amiri. Y'all did a great job. Y'all did a great job. But this is about Umar Johnson failure to want to talk about the real issue at hand, and that's the viability of the FDMG Academy. And he refuses to want to talk about that. That has nothing. Matter of fact, we don't have to ask anybody a question. He didn't mind bringing up about getting donations for the school, but he don't want to talk about the status of the school.
Yeah.
So that's just the reality.
You know, it's interesting that he's been on this journey now for it's almost pushing a decade, next 2 years since he started in 2014. I watch and follow this dude for over a decade now. I think it's like, was it? I think roughly, yeah, it's over a decade, around like 2011, I believe. Yeah, around that time. Yeah, that the growth and development, and there's certain things that I think I'm not sure who's watching over Omar personally, because if he's doing this really by himself, he's gonna have problems, And really, truly, the timetable for the school, it should have been already established 2 years ago, in my opinion. But when I look at the amount of money that's going to maintain it, I don't think the black community is going to really maintain it if he does get what he deserves, personally, in my opinion.
I'm like this because, like I said, and like I told everybody, man.
Mm-hmm.
You all asked me to come. Amiri asked me to come up. He
Okay.
asked me that I want to come up and ask questions. I graciously told Amiri no, because I know if I would have came up there, I would have turned it into a fuckery, because I wouldn't have asked those questions that and Umar knows that I would have not asked those questions. He knows that I'm highly educated and knowledgeable about these things, that and so on, as far as the issues and as far as about him. And it would have been a conflictual situation. Out of respect for Amiri's platform, I chose not to do that, because I would have turned a positive interview into it would have turned to a shit show. I'm just gonna be honest. That's why I refused to do it, because I know that as soon as I would have asked Umar, I was gonna ask Umar questions that he didn't want to answer, and he would have gotten defensive, and we would have went back and forth, and y'all would either kick me off or he would have left, and then I would have ruined your show. And I didn't want to do that. That my thing is, me and you've been real cool with each other for years. We talk all the time. Me and Amiri been real cool for about a little bit over 6 to 8 months or so, whatever. I've been knowing him for about a year or two, and I've never had an issue with Amiri, and I want to keep it as such. So I didn't want to do that.
Okay. No, I mean, I respect that. My thing is this with the school. I want the school to be up and running personally. I know one content creator did cover on this and talk about the importance now that is a necessity, because we're in dire strait with the boys. And I think about it, it's going to take more than one man to really fix all this. We should be really looking at any institutions that I guess is controlled by us, rather small, big, to really give more attention, in my opinion, than something that is not really established yet. But for the sake of conversation, that night, we kept it simple, and at times,
I get it.
And be honest with you, I had to really make a conscious decision if even talking about school was really important at that time. But like I said, Dieter, you've been around Omar long enough. If you look at the chat room, bro, it's atrocious, man. The whole chat room, it was just
right.
I mean, and for a good fate, and let's be honest, a lot of people that have a lot of strides about him never put no money into the institution at all. I support in my little way, not much, but I've thrown some things that is a form of the support. Now, I can't speak for everybody else, but everybody say that, I need no is my right. And say, no, it's not. Now, D-Darrell, if you're up there, right, you had the right to really ask these questions, because you gave this man in the thousands.
Yeah.
I never gave much money, but I support in some other ways that could be, if I really want to ask, I could be in the right to maybe know if I really, really want to know. But personally, I don't ask certain questions because I don't throw enough money to really scoop up the status of the school. Now, mind you, if you remember a couple years ago, he said that people that donate, he always let people know, email or whatever, that he tells what status and how much money has been raised.
That's a lie, man. That he don't do that. He don't even answer 99% of those emails. That's not true.
Okay, then that's a big problem. That's a very serious problem, because now if people ask it and they throwing, let's say, close to $1,000, they want to know where is the money being? Is you gathering? What is the target goal? Have you noticed that when people never ask the target goal, what amount you need to get this still up and running? Did he ever give a number? I forgot what it was. I think it was like 2 million one time, back 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Now I'm not sure if there's even an amount of the target goal of how much he needs to get the school running. Do you remember, D-Darrell?
As far as the money that he's raised,
Yeah, what is the target goal? How much is the
he has no target goal. That's the problem.
Yeah, he's going. Yeah,
What he has is a target goal, an estimated amount of money that is needed to rehab the buildings to get them operational and functional. He thrown out that one building need 250,000, another one needed $1 million or $500,000. It's just vague numbers thrown out. Then there's money that he has to pay back in property taxes, things of that sort. So there is not a designated dollar amount.
Yeah.
That's just donate the money and we're going to pay for these liabilities that the school has.
That's not good enough. That's not even sustainable.
I'm gonna say, man, look, out of respect, I'm gonna say this again, man. I really did want to come up, but I already knew what I was gonna do, and I knew I just wouldn't. I'm just say this: if I would have came up there and not asked those questions, the Umar sector would have hung me out to dry if I wouldn't have. So it was best that I didn't go up there. Just even if I left the sector, if I would have went up there asking Mickey Mouse questions, they would have had a problem with it. They would have had a big problem. So, I felt that it was best for me to stay where I was at in the chat and listen. And I think it was a good interview. It wasn't the things I wanted to hear about because I've already heard Umar talk about this stuff. Nothing he stated. I want to say this, Chaos. Nothing he stated, and half of the people we got 48 people watching. I guarantee you, out of the 40, there's about 35 people who have already heard Umar say the things that he's already stated. Chaos. They tired of hearing this. They want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
If the school is in need of dire need of money, or there's all these different obstacles, just be honest with the community and say so.
Yeah, I agree.
So man, I wasn't gonna do that, man, because then you'd have been. I would have. Amiri would have been mad at me. You probably would have been mad at me for doing.
I mean, I don't hold grudge. I would not got mad personally because, like I said, this is Amiri's channel. I'm saying whatever decision he makes, that's his decision. My thing is this: that I've been hearing a lot of things, and like I said, I follow social media enough. And I don't really keep up with Omar on what he's saying about topics or trending topics. Even when he talking about he's being shadow banned on other media outlets, and he created a website where if you want to hear all this raw stuff, you gotta pay a monthly fee, which is fine. That's his choice. But like I said, if there's nothing really where there's a real target goal of the amount of money needed and amount of money to maintain the operation, I mean, personally, if people want to keep support to something that might happen, that's up to them. Me, I give my support in other methods, and I like to throw things where there's no end goal. Personally, there has to be an end goal, because when I look at the building he did purchase or wherever that they said he got or does not have, that's good. You look in the millions to maintain, and if you don't have a net goal of how much you're trying to raise first, you can't talk about say anything else that it should. If people can support to maintain it, you haven't really set a target goal, what you need first. Once you accomplish that, then you go say, all right, for this one, we need everybody to continue support for wherever we can. And there's not enough talks about that personally. And that's how I see it.
It's not. And my thing is that, listen, nobody's asking him to open up all the goddamn books and everything, but you need to give a report. You need to give a verbal report. People need to see specifics. We need to hear specifics, know specifics, and there needs to be an ongoing report of these things. And his failure to do so is the reason why there is a lack of ongoing donations. You see, he should flat out say, listen, there's a huge reduction. There is not a huge increase in donations. There's a reduction. He's not nowhere. I'm gonna say this. When I saw Umar Johnson in 2017, the Shrine of the Black Madonna, there was about 5,000 people that seen Umar Johnson at that facility, church and the actual museum that they have. The last time I saw Umar Johnson in 2021, there was barely 300 people in that room. That's a big difference.
Wow,
that's a big difference. So that speaks to the level of decline as it involves his support.
Mm-hmm.
At the peak of his support, he was doing venues and selling them out. Now he may have a nice, decent, following, but it's nowhere near the level that it once was. And that's his own doing.
Yeah. And the funny thing with polygamy, I know he keep pushing this, and I'm thinking, that sounds nice, but black women, let's be honest, the West is not down for it, and much time keep pushing it. I mean, that's just a lost win to keep pushing something about polygamy to our side, our group of people, especially our women, and really truly, there's nothing really to show about it. Because think about it.
Don't you know, polygamy is in the decline in Africa. Most Africans that I know are not polygamous, and those that I know a lot of, because Houston has a large African population, and for those that I know that come from the continent that ain't been here for like 5-8 years, that grew up in polygamy would not even engage in polygamy. It's polygamy is becoming a lost art in most developing areas of Africa. As far as African countries, yes, there are some very wealthy African men who are able to do so, and then there's some tribes that practice it immensely. But for the most part, polygamy on the continent is on decline.
It could be because they're industrializing most. Okay, I know Africa got some places.
It's industrializing, but it's also, this is what the last person I talked to about this, it was actually a guy who was a Yoruba from Nigeria. He basically told me, because he grew up in it. He had his dad had 9 wives, and he said that the reason why he decided not to do it is because everybody was fighting over resources. They was fighting over money. They were saying he was treating one group, one wife, kids better than the other. It was all kinds of infighting and things of that sort that you had to deal with that people don't talk about. And he said he would never, he would never engage in that type of institution.
Okay.
And I'm just saying, this is coming from a person that grew up in it. Now, of course, there are other people who may have different, more favorable experiences who would say otherwise, but it's just something that's not practiced that much. And that's just the reality.
Yeah.
And you can't legally, let's be honest, in this country, you can only legally marry one woman. The other women who engage in the polygamous, you can do a contract. You can have a legal binding contract, but it's not equal to that of someone who's married. Legally, this is with a marriage license. That's not the same, But I get it. But black women are not trying to knowingly share a man.
Especially in this climate. And let's be honest, let's say some are doing it. Okay, that's their business. But overall, most women today, or even back then now, they're not in the business of sharing no fucking man unless this man got some real money and he's able to position them separately from other women. Because a lot of women don't want to work with each other. Let's be honest. To be what do you call it? A stepper wife, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, man. Short term that could work, but long term it can be disastrous.
Yeah,
we got to look at the long term ramifications. The long term ramifications shows that the more vested that these women become in the relationship, the less likely they're gonna want to put up with this man sharing of multiple women.
And it's funny. I hear some women, and this is like, was it a year ago? And I can't say no names, either, but they feel that say, they should have more than one man.
You know what? There are cultures there are Indian cultures.
Yeah, I mean there are some parts
have,
that have it, but it's very sweet.
polygamous women with multiple husbands and stuff. That does exist in
Yeah,
certain
it
parts
does.
of the world. But
Yeah.
you know, let's be honest, man. That's not going to. Most men ain't putting up with that.
Hell, listen, some men don't even want to be the side nigga, my dude. You know what I'm saying? Much less say, okay, now it's say I'm a woman, I can have this man, this man. I said, so you want to share thousands? Okay, good luck.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to pause for a second.
Yes.
And I want to play We on Locks portion a little bit, and then we can kind of process that a little bit. And then I'm gonna go to the Oracle. But I want to play We on Lock to kind of show why there was no difference in the interview. So I just want to play this for a second, then we'll move forward, okay? All right.
Umar, if I Tunde, the morning and do this every
Community, notably
of the Black community. Some would other call that women are very masculine, talk this and that and all this other things, and that they should know their place. I say that a woman has a place amongst Black people, and we need them now more than ever before. What say you to this gender war that keeps happening online as well as offline?
Let me stop there. You see, this is the problem, Chaos. We talking about some goddamn gender war. Why is Umar Johnson discussing gender war? What usefulness? What does that have to do with the school? See, this is what I'm talking about. This is irrelevant topics that nobody wants to hear Umar Johnson talk about gender war. They want to hear Umar Johnson talk about the school and education and mental health. But let me continue.
Doing this have daughters of their own. So you're telling me you're conditioning young Black boys to disrespect and devalue your own daughter. We have to stop it. This is not the way masculine men should behave. And on the flip side, women have to be held accountable as well. You know, you got women out there advocating the abortion of any Black male fetus. That is insane. That is eugenics on a whole nother.
That was towards Cynthia G.
Level. You have Black women out there who are advocating that Black women never look at another Black man, find anything else other than a Black man to cohabitate with and make children with. This is absolutely ridiculous. And what makes it so ridiculous, and I'll be quiet for your next statement and question, but what makes it so ridiculous is nobody wants either one of us. Let us be clear. The white female may use you for your melanin. She may use you for your income, but she don't care about you either. You are a means to an end. Same thing with the Black woman. The white man might use you for your melanin. He might use you for your minority double status that he can exploit to get his company off the ground. Okay. But beyond.
Again, what does this have to do with the school? Let me flip over a little bit further.
Last night when I was speaking at the Everlasting Life Cafe in Capitol Heights, Maryland, if the parents are coons, so the child will be also.
Oh, man.
And this is one of the reasons in the final analysis, we need residential academies. I attended a residential high school, Scotland School for Veterans Children in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. It was a JROTC school, but I saw the benefit of being able to engineer and control the entire atmosphere of a child. And that's why in the final analysis, FDMG, not just the one in Wilmington, but the entire FDMG movement, which...
Stop right there. What movement? What movement? We haven't opened the doors. You haven't educated one child. The school is not out. You don't have one enrollment. You see, this is what I'm talking about. You're trying to relate what the Black community needs versus what you're going to provide, and you haven't provided a goddamn thing. Okay? Nothing. Nothing. You have not educated one black. You have not provided this contained environment to foster the growth of young black boys into positive men. But you're sitting on Will Lock's channel talking about this as if it is in fruition. And it's not. This is what I'm talking about. This video in itself, I'm gonna go a little bit further and I'm gonna go to the Oracle, was no different than the video and the interview with Amiri.
We hope to have schools in every country and in every community of our race. That's the long-term goal. Before I leave this planet, I want to be the first superintendent of a truly independent, African-centered global school district.
How the fuck? I'm sorry. How are we going to talk about a global anything if we don't even have something in one city versus a state? This is thoughts of grandeur. You see how we are having, this is our idealism at its best. So we're going to sit here and talk about doing all of these magnificent things for black boys, Pan-African nationalist school throughout the state of Delaware or in whatever city he's in. Then you want to go global, but you haven't gotten one school open yet. Why can't we take the steps brick by brick? See, we're having all of this, these highly sought after, artificial ideas that have not come to task, have not come to reality. And it sounds good. It sounds great, but you haven't opened up one school yet. So why are we talking about global anything? If you haven't gotten one, why are you talking about anything national? Why are you talking about anything global when you haven't opened up one school and you have not enrolled or educated one black child through the FDMG Academy? Now let me go to the Oracle. What's up, Queen?
Hello, dear King. How you doing, Mr. Spears?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good.
Excellent. Chaos Rain, how about you? How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome.
That's good. That is so good. You know, I come up here to start some shit, right?
Hey, go ahead and do your thing. I'm good.
Thank you. Okay, so when you know, and the light is on, it's on. Okay, so unfortunately, during the time frame that he had collected funds for St. Paul, we've been given this exact same regimen from this gentleman known as Umar Johnson. And in doing so, we fell in line with the rhythm and the beat of the theory. So you hit it nail on the head, Mr. Spears. He has given us theoretical concepts of what's possible. But how likely is it? Probable. Is it probable? It's the problem. What's happening here is he's spoon feeding in everybody's hope and dream of accomplishing a thing, because we have all been affected some shape, form, or fashion to some degree, whether we've seen it or whether we experienced through our family members, aka our children, that has fallen victim to these overabundance of formulas of mental enslavement or mental capturing young babies by overdiagnosing and over medication. Okay, so being a business major, that's the only thing I'm going to address this as. This is not nothing to do with attacking a person. So I want that out there, put that out there, make it plain and clear. I am not attacking a person. And if you take it that way, that's your projection, not mine. Back to the subject. What's happening here is we're being theoretically spoon-fed a concept and hope and a dream, and some are falling for it, some are seeing through the murk of it all. And I, for one, am on that side of being able to see through certain things because it's like the light is on. I'm not in the dark. So let me share some light. In business, you have to understand how to craft and orchestrate a business. That's why my business failed. I have learned the hard way about biting off more than I can chew and not being prepared for my consumer base by way of surplus and supplies and services, by way of a business organized system such as a business plan. Let's deal with this. Okay. Um, I am for one, and I'm pretty sure the host is also uh, tired of the song and dance, the beating around the bush with the elephant in the room situation. Let's address this elephant in the room. Are you serious, sir? Are you serious? You sound serious. You really do. You're giving us a really good theoretical concept that can possibly come to fruition in some shape, form, or fashion down some street of time. However, um, the actions is what most business and people in business will look at, such as the host and myself. You have not made public your uh, articles of incorporation, your your the school curriculum auditing, your plans to go forward with overcoming the minimum objectives, which is taxes. Addressing them is not putting forth new prospects, information that they would need anytime you are taking out stock in a business, which is in effect that most people do. They're investing. They have a right to know by law uh, the well-being of said organization. And if they're investing in that organization and you're looking for new investors publicly, the public has the right to know beforehand. In other words, you're out here advocating for a GoFundMe situation or a fund me situation by virtue of the general public. You have therefore allowed the public to understand their rights by virtue of your asking in a verbal contract when you're asking for some said fund to invest in a school project that they have a right to know to which the well-being of that project. In other words, they have a right to know the bare minimum of the well-being of that project. If you do not want the public's opinion or input on that, stop asking for public funds. If you want to privatize your business strictly toward some group of people, make it private. Don't ever ask for public funds for a private organization. So there's much more I would like to say, but I'll stop it right there to get your thoughts on what I just displayed.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. In summation, he has to be transparent. He has to be organized. He has to show and have the proper documentation to keep things in place. He has to give us a understanding of what the viability of the school is, what is the likelihood that these things can happen with a timeline. We don't, like you said, in articles of operation, we don't have any of those things, nor is he in any way verbalizing any of this information to the donors. That's why I have the FDMG Academy donor group. You know, it's on Facebook. I chose to put it on Facebook because I didn't want it on. I didn't want it on YouTube because I don't do the sector like as much, and I understand how things can go into fuckery and so forth. But I on Facebook is more lax. I would have, if I would have created the FDMD donor group on YouTube, I would have way more people that would have joined it. But I prefer having it on Facebook so I don't have to do the YouTube stuff in the sector and so on. That's why I chose to do that. But you're wholeheartedly correct. All of these things that you're saying that legally he should be doing, but in essence he chose, and he not only did he choose not to, he don't feel that we're entitled to this information. That's the issue.
And
What's
so,
up?
if you don't mind, yes.
Go ahead. Then I'm gonna go to.
I'm not gonna hold you for a second. I know you got another guest on here, but let me just get this out. Our problem is we forgot our past, and he's beautiful at his historical records that he obtained over the years and expressed over time. If you pay attention, you can actually learn on a collegiate level what it is to have an American history mindset. So when you make that disconnect, that's a problem, because the very thing that you're teaching to the general public at large by virtue of your knowledge base and just sharing this information lets me know there are two sides to the mindset of Dr. Umar Johnson, minimum, in my personal opinion. This is not a diagnosis. This is just an opinion. Let me explain. Whenever you are a psychologist, that does not equate to an educator, okay, or a business person. So some say 3, go with 3, but a school is a business, so I'm not going to separate the two. So when I say school, I'm saying business, or I prefer to say business, and you just automatically understand me to say school. Understood? So, okay, right. Now, when we have a persona on a stage that is taking charge of the mental health crisis that's happening, that's a legitimate concern. However, the aspiration does not equate to the ability or the knowledge or skill set, people, to be able to function as a viable business. Okay. Because if that was the case, it would be already formed to be ready to already have some situation set up that's automatically known that is your right as a donor, to know about, and a future donor, if he has a hope in hell to even try to go at this venture, because the few of people that he do have in the private sector are not enough, clearly. Because if that was the case, of course, the taxes would not even be an issue. You're owing 2 years worth of taxes, allegedly. And even though you are claiming that you are 501c3 at this point in time, you have not overcome the very bare minimum of what you should have already overcome. So this means that you need a wider audience to reach out to. And in that respect, you do owe the general public that's interested in saving our children that opportunity to understand the state. Nobody invests in a venture they don't have any clue about. That's disrespectful. And that's why people like myself have pulled out of that situation and look into other platforms to engage in and invest in. So yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, go ahead, Zone. What's up, brother?
All right, how's it going? Do you hear me, bro?
What, sir?
All right, so do you hear me? Any echoes? Okay, I would say that I was just thinking that his remaining supporters are probably, they'll mention, I think someone mentioned his medical advice in terms of medication, and probably I think people believe his constant failures or delayment of the venture will somehow paradoxically motivate black people in seeing that he's trying, basically, for any of his remaining Umar's followers.
I'm not following him. I'm not understanding what you're meaning.
I'm saying people excuse his delayment in the schools so much because they know he's important for the medical front against the medication of black boys, and they think that him failing all the time will at least inspire people to make their own schools or something of that sort. So it's kind of like an excuse.
What
Or
does the medication and the failures of that have to do with the school? I'm not understanding the.
I'm saying people are excusing him from that. They think that those two are enough. That him just trying to make a school or him saving black boys from medication allegedly is good enough. That's what I'm saying. That's placating
okay.
them.
As far as him doing those two things, if that's good enough for the supporters, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they believe that pretty much is for people like We Unlock. That's good. That's the school itself. Basically, they've given up on the actual project.
Right. Well, my position is everybody has a right, just as I did, because I supported Umar for years, and like I stated, I'm a person who donated thousands of dollars over a 6-7 year period from 2014 to 2000. I stopped donating in 2021. I took a break here and there, but for the most part, I was donating anywhere between $600 to $1,000 any given year for about 4 or 5, particularly 4 or 5, but up until really 2019, and then 20 I didn't donate as much. 2021 I donated a little bit more, but I donated several $1,000s. So I get it. People overlook. I was a person who overlooked certain things until I start seeing consistency of negative things continuously happening, and the lack of efficacy in the operation of the school itself, which caused me to deter away from openly supporting him online. So it was a gradual situation, but unfortunately, the average person who supports him, some of these people are overlooking the things that you just talked about, Zone. They just looked at the fact that Umar said he's going to do this. He spoke and stated this. He made me feel some type of way. Therefore, I'm going to continue to donate, and that's just the reality. That's unfortunate, but that's the reality.
So where do you think this ends? Like, is I believe it was what Recognized Game is trying to organize the donors a good possible idea, and that could possibly be coupled
I'm
with.
I'm gonna say this, Zone.
Okay.
I don't want to speak on Recognized Game because
My
I
fault.
don't want to start another beef with him over
Okay.
stuff with the donors, because we have a conflictual situation about me organizing the Umar donor group on Facebook. So I get what you're saying. I get where you're going with that. And he did focus on the donors, but I have a very different, I have a unique perspective about his underlying reasons for wanting to deal with the donors. And I'll just leave it at that. What's going on,
if someone else did.
What's going on, Queen?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. What's up? I thought you were somebody else. Go ahead. What's up, baby?
I don't think it's ever gonna be a scoop. Umar started out, talking about psychology, boys at school, all of that good stuff. And I was excited. My baby was 1 at the time, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be a school for boys. When he get old enough, maybe I can send him. But that baby is 12 now. There is still no school. And Umar, when I ask about the school, they would kick me out of chats and keep me from talking. Also, after
where was that at? Which, I mean, if you don't mind me asking,
this was in Miss Blue chat about 8 years ago.
Okay.
She was doing an interview, and I was like, well, what's going on with the school, and where is the donation money going, and what is happening? And they kicked me out the chat because I really do think he tell people certain things that they can't ask him if he gonna do an interview with them, because like you said, all of those interviews are the same. And when Umar started, Umar was doing good until he found out that he could make a lot more money talking about black relationships, and all the money he could get doing all those we call them lectures. When he figured out he could get money doing all that, his message started changing. Then all of them. So Jason Black and Tommy Sotomayor was running campaigns for donations to put documentaries together. And shortly after that, that's when Umar started his donation campaign from that school. I don't think it's ever gonna be a school. I think it's forever donation city because that's how he making his living. That's just my personal opinion, though.
Hey, listen. At this point, listen. I'm gonna say this to you, Queen. And you know, I've been rocking with you. I watch you on Facebook. I watch your channel and stuff like that. You definitely gonna speak the truth, what you feel. My thing was, if it was 2 or 3 years ago, I would have argued you down about what you just stated. But my position gradually changed as I saw that. Listen, you got this school, you bought the school, and then every time you look around, is money for the renovations, money for the taxes, money for this, and like you said, your son 12 years old now. Before you know it, he's gonna be out of high school. And then you're gonna tell another generation of mothers hoping that they could send their child to a school, like where does it end? And so and you know, in 2022, I can't really argue with nothing you saying, Queen. But 3 years ago, I would have argued you down about that. I probably wouldn't even let you finish the statement you were saying. So I get where you coming from with people kicking you out for. Now I wouldn't have kicked you out of my platform, whatever, but because I allow people to speak. But I get what you're saying, because you believe he was gonna, when he first did this, you
Umar
thought
blocked
he
me on
actually
his
gonna do
Facebook
this.
page.
Huh?
He blocked me on his Facebook page.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
But
because
you
when
really
he would go
believe
live, I would be like, "So what's up with the school?" I called the realtor too. You gonna take my money and not explain nothing? I called the realtor to one of them schools. That man said he ain't never seen Umar. Another realtor said Umar came, shot a video, and he ain't seen or heard from him since.
wow. In
Yeah.
Delaware?
Mm,
Or this was
I
in
don't
Philly?
remember which state this one was in. It was two of them. He
How
kept
much you
saying
donated?
this, huh?
How much you donated? How much money?
Oh, I didn't donate that much. Because
All right.
I seen
It
that
don't
look like
matter.
some
If
foolishness.
you
I was like, you ain't
donated
getting no more of my
$10, you
money.
got a right to say something. It
Oh
don't
no,
matter
no,
how
no,
much
no.
you donated.
I was just asking. You feel me?
No, I
Yeah.
ain't donate that much. I donated a very little. Okay, minuscule amount, because you can't get my money and you look like fuckery. I'm sorry. And it looked like fuckery. I was like, oh, this don't look right. Cause it was a building. I'm not sure what it was. It was named after Frederick Douglass, or one of the black people in black history. And
Right?
the people in that building told Umar that they would let him use the other half of their building. They would move all of their staff to the other side of the
Right?
building, and he
Right?
could start the school in there. Umar never responded to them.
I know exactly what you're talking about. They actually, but see, this is the thing. They obviously, Umar has turned down so much help. See, when he sat there talking about, lying on Amiri channel about, the black community need to do this, and I got to spend my time arguing with other Negroes over ego. Man, there are people Umar has turned down so much help. It's ridiculous. Now, this, and I heard this. It's funny you brought up this story, because I actually heard this story, but I never talked about it because I never got confirmation from other people. But I did hear of the fact that they offered him, and this was a big building where they were going to let him do his own thing independently, and he turned it down. He just flat, and he didn't respond or do anything. And he didn't even have to spend money
Yeah,
on
they
a
said
business.
they was gonna let him do all that for free until he could get his school off the ground, and he never
Exactly.
responded to them.
And he never responded, because I want to open up the independent. I want to do it without this and that, and then they're going to try to dictate this and that. But my thing is, what we're not understanding is that you have to take steps when you don't have the capital to do things. This is the route you have to go until you can financially operate on your own. And to me, what you just expressed is a prime example of why this school may not ever open. And that's just the only way I can put it. What's up, Flock?
Yo, man. Like, what's up, Panna? What's up, D? Nah,
What's up,
I
man?
just seen the title. You feel me? And I was surprised by the title and just tapped in. And we on lock got an Umar Johnson interview.
Yeah,
and that's dropping when?
It dropped a day ago, yesterday.
Oh shit! So wow. I mean, like, how do you feel about that? You feel me?
That's why I did the video.
Umar
because
gave you like the
it's
runaround, but
it's the same redundant interview with the same stuff, not talking about the real issues about the school. He talked about everything except the school.
Wait, was this live or like pre-recorded?
That was live. That was live.
Oh man, Umar's opening up now.
What?
You know what?
Because like that, I mean, listen, bro. Like 1 year ago,
but he did.
Umar is not going live in this
He
second.
did a live with Amiri Brown 2 weeks ago. So he's doing a lot of interviews. But do you realize how many Umar is doing a lot of YouTube interviews?
And why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean,
to get donations, to like get his name back in the headlines, to teach and educate the masses. Like, what's the
donations?
Donations is money.
Yeah, right. But if it's money, and he wouldn't come on, be on lock though, right?
Listen, he was on We On Lock channel, and he did the interview. He did an 1.5-hour video.
Wow.
I'm gonna show you right here. Look, this is the video right here.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Yo, man, Lennon Honor is probably rolling in his sleep right now. Like, god damn. Umar Johnson really came to your sector. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, We On Lock really not in the sector like that, per se. But I get what you're saying. But he did the interview. That's him right there. They did the interview yesterday.
I wonder if he an interview with me.
Shout out to Umar, man. That's crazy. Yeah. I know Umar Johnson, feel me, and like had the boss to come on a YouTube live because look,
y'all aware that he doesn't do that for free.
Yeah, we know that. We all know that.
Hey, I'm looking at this hold on. I'm looking at his channel right now. This man only got 1,000 subscribers, but he's able to get that on. He had to pay for that.
How much do you pay?
But it's always with conditions. Okay,
it's always
not mistake the whole ordeal here. Anytime Umar does an interview, it has to come with some pre-scripted, pre-understand questions will be asked, won't be asked situation. And that's not getting at the core of what this mindset is. It's like you'll never get to know him publicly on that level because that's the way it's set up. It always have been set up for years, for nearly a decade now, over a decade. He doesn't count certain years. Why, I don't know that is. But I will say this. When I come from the beginning. So when we were, before the Japanese Chinese Oriental, whatever, beat him out on that bid for St. Paul, he went into a sabbaticus or a hiatus or whatever you want to call it. Then he came back on the scene when his name was questioned by the psychological board and they took him to court for it. Well, they couldn't prove that it wasn't him. He won by default. Y'all keep forgetting that. He was hot and he was found out that he had so many funds that people were starting to try to get their refund for. So what he do? He went for the first thing smoking, the first thing that told him yes, which was the school in Wilmington. They gave him his first go. Yeah, you want this? Here, take it. Pennies on the dollar, a fire sale. Some talks and some records showed $10 for the fire sale at the beginning. But then it got worked out to $400,000. See, y'all fail to forget that when Umar purchased this property, it was de facto. And what do that mean? He had a whole lawyer that flaked out on him. And so they never did give him his historical records that he was due. It's like when you give somebody keys to property, you have to give them the backstory to it too. That's part of the deed. Nobody did a deed research on that property to find out the state or condition it was in. This was a bad investment from the gate. That's what I've been bitching about this entire time. He purchased the property on the heels of his name being questioned by the courts. The day he was crying after he got out of court about his baby mama, and he couldn't see the baby anymore, and he gave out her name and the baby name and somebody else's address or whatever the case was, and had folk coming for that woman. Okay, he panicked. Now I don't give a shit about how nobody don't like it. That's the facts, and I'm telling you what it is. Until we start facing these facts, we're never gonna get. We're gonna keep on singing the same song. And who anybody got a banjo out there? Do anybody got an orchestra we can sing to? Because I'm gonna need some sheet music. Because I'm stuck. I'm really tired of singing this same sad song. How about you, D. Darrell?
Hey, listen, I try not to do this content, but after seeing him do the interview with Amiri, which I know, then see him doing the interview with We on Lock, it was. I just felt like I had to make a reaction. I had no choice, because the fact of the matter, the two interviews were almost identical as it relates to the questioning and the context of the answers. And it was about everything except the elephant in the room, and that's about the schools. I mean, and so I don't want to hear about no goddamn manosphere and agenda war. And I'm in that space, and I want to hear the shit. And I'm like, I don't want to hear you talking about it and shit and whatever. We don't want to hear. Then this thing about, okay, I get it. The thing with him and Cynthia G, and then the thing about, he's had multiple videos that went viral. Okay, all these videos went viral, but what is that doing to open up the school? That's all I want to know. Where's the money? How much money you need? How much more needs to be repaired? You haven't gotten one enrollment. You don't even have the documents to even send out the people and market the school so that people.
I still have confidence though.
Huh?
I said I still have confidence that Umar Johnson is going to open up the school. Am I crazy for that, man?
Confidence.
Keep
based
hope
on
alive,
what?
brother. Keep hope alive.
Based on what? Where's that confidence coming from?
If you
This
don't
blind
mind,
confidence.
Let me ask you this, Flacco, before you state what you're about to say. Hold your thought for a second. Flacco, you seem to be a really educated person. Last time I checked on you, Flacco, you was getting your college degree too. So with that being said, I take it you're a very intelligent person, because you come off as a person that thinks with ration and reason. That's just me. So let me ask you this. How likely is a person going to be able to open a school if they're not at least certified as a teacher?
P. Diddy, Jalen Rose, like they're not certified as teachers, and they open up the schools.
Do they have any licensing?
No.
You have to have some type of licensing to function as a school. Did you know that?
Yeah, right. So again, like Jalen Rose, P. Diddy, they themselves don't have no licenses, but they open up schools. So I guess I don't know.
Okay, so
yeah, but this is what you're missing. They had a team that knew what they were doing to get everything operational and functioning. He don't have anything that we
told us he did though, right?
What?
Told us he did though, right? Like remember on I think it was the Umar, right? An interview, and he stated that he has a team, but like he has been reluctant to like reveal his team, like due to the trolls, might be looking to harass him.
There's no way you have a team and you're making these rookie mistakes for this. Umar has made countless financial mistakes. He has made real estate mistakes. He's made social media mistakes in regards to the accumulation of funds on the GoFundMe account, on the Cash App situation. What was it? It was particularly the GoFundMe and other situations. He's made issues in regards to keeping his 501c nonprofit. designation. He had issues in which he didn't file with the state of Pennsylvania to operate and take funds for that state, even though he moved to Delaware, keeping up his incorporation. He's made countless, and then you had issues with the HVAC that was claimed it was purchased incorrectly, or we don't know whether or not how it was purchased. Then you made mistakes with even getting a goddamn what is that you got to get the license to do the festival that he needed. He had issues with that, applying for that license to do that in the community. Every time
I've seen progress though, right?
Every time we see something that involves administrative work, there's some type of issue. He does not have a team, because that team would be handling it.
Right, we've seen here, right? No, right. Listen, but like, we've seen some progress though, right?
What progress did you see?
Yeah. Look, so again, like the lights is on, the water is running. You feel me? And we've seen some heavy inside renovations. You feel me? Right. So like we've seen progress, meaning like the condition of the school in 2019 or 2018. It's a lot different from the condition of the school currently, right? So like we've seen a great deal of progress. Now, if he's going, a little bit too slow or slower than the liking of people in on this panel, I definitely can't understand that statement, right? But I have confidence that the school is going to open up.
It don't take a lot to keep running water, to get running water and lights. If you talking about, to me, progress is the inside of the school operational, where people don't have to worry about whatever as far as up to code with the city, stuff like that. As far as the utilities and all that kind of that's not a big for 3 years. That's not a huge improvement. That's not an improvement. An improvement would be you got
paid up some property taxes,
where,
right?
Where the school is approved by the state and it's ready to be and it's going through an inspection. An improvement would be you've gotten applications in and you got so many kids getting ready to enroll, along with the staff that's going to be necessary to provide services for these children. That's an improvement.
No, again, I definitely understand that, right? But like that's like the final process, though, right? But like if we're talking about just like progress in general, and he's paying some of his taxes, right? Right? Like he's, and he's doing
he shouldn't even be owing taxes.
But with the right, but if we're seeing progress nonetheless, again, it can be slow progress, but it's progress nonetheless that's moving towards the end goal.
Yeah, but you don't understand. Some of this progress was things that shouldn't have been an issue in the first place. He should have never lost his 501c3. He should never be paying taxes for something like this. If he would have maintained that 501c3, he wouldn't have to pay property taxes. He wouldn't have to be paying these taxes to the federal government. That money could have been avoided if you would have maintained the proper records and filed. A 501c3 is not difficult to get approved. It's not.
Right? And
so he created those problems.
Like how Umar could have avoided that, right? Is
by filing correctly, by filing everything and getting everything
right?
And having the proper documents.
No. Right. Listen. Yes, right. I definitely agree, but I will lay the blame though on the Negroes on YouTube, Facebook, etc., who was pressuring that man, right, and putting a freaking heap of pressure on him to where like at this point he is rushing and moving sloppy. If Negroes were not gonna, be like pressuring him, you feel me, calling him scammers, making videos, trying to tear down his name, and he probably would have had time to breathe.
He had time, Flacco,
and go things, the right way.
Brother. He purchased the school in 2018. We in 2022, as we had 4 years, man. How much more time you need?
I'll be real, like 4 years.
I mean, look, I'm
with the money he raised, is not that's not enough time.
He purchased
I'm a,
it.
That's not
He
enough
purchased
time
it
to
in
get stuff
2019
going.
February.
And he only raised like what, like 900,000?
No, he raised more than that. As we speak, he had over 750 when he purchased the school. I'm pretty sure between that time over the last 3 to 4 years, he's raised extra funds. He's
Yeah.
raised millions.
well, it looked like he is making some type of progress prior to what I've seen. I ain't seen this new school or none of that. But the last video I saw Umar, because I really stopped following him years ago, because
Yes,
I
sir.
ain't I ain't got no hope. But
And that's what I'm saying.
but
Progress.
the last video I saw, it did look like the gym was shaping up to be very nice if that was the gym for the school. So I will say that that's making progress.
Come on,
And
D.
I will say this, even if he is doing this on his own and he making all these mistakes and it's taking a while, the only person that's obligated to keep his dream alive is him.
Mm-hmm.
And if he don't want to accept help, then that's the burden that he chooses to carry. Because Umar doing a lot of stuff that don't look right. Like I said, I was excited. My baby was 1. My baby is now 12. My baby, my baby would probably been and graduated before this school even get started. So I'm like, okay, he got to keep that alive because he doing a lot of stuff that don't look right.
Mm-hmm. You D. See? At least people are seeing that progress is being made. Now, again, if the progress is slow, we can talk about that, right? But if he's still progressing each and every year, and I feel like it's only ethical that we sit back and say, okay, this brother is improving each and every year. Let's see where this goes. You feel me?
So what? It's gonna be another 10 years?
Shit. I'll be real. Like,
Like really?
it might take
The
15.
hell,
You
man!
feel me?
Like, come on, man! Like you can. I'm gonna say this, man. Look, we gotta look at what's what is ideal versus what is practical. And the school is not financially practical because even when you open up the school, you're gonna need a certain amount of funds to pay for the school. How you gonna opening up a school is expensive. The donations are not gonna come at a level to take care of all of the needs of these kids that are gonna come. This is a residential. It is not cheap to operate a residential school.
And who fault is that?
Stay there and all this
And
other
who fault
different
is that,
stuff.
D? Huh?
You said what?
I said, right? And who fault is that? Meaning, listen, as black folks, and we go to church and give white Jesus 10% of our salary each and every week, right? Now, listen,
Flacco,
the
the average black person ain't tired in 10%.
right?
I don't know. I get what
If
you're
us as
saying.
black folks gave Umar
White
Johnson,
Jesus no 10%.
no, right? If us as black
that
folks
ain't
gave
right.
Umar Johnson a portion of that 10% every paycheck, every like bi-weekly, weekly, whatever, like maybe our boys would have a school to go to in the immediate future. But if the man ain't raising enough money, you feel me? Like that's not his fault. It's
Is there any
Negro's fault.
reason why he don't have his certification as a teacher or a principal right now?
According to him, and he don't plan on teaching, right? I think he says that he's gonna be kind of like
what capacity is he gonna be in that school?
I'm not even sure. You feel me? Like probably like what? Like
because I heard something
owner?
about principal. He had an office and everything. He's not off site. He's gonna be on site.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think he'll be the principal.
So
He'll
in order
probably
to
be
be a principal or function in that capacity, you have to at least have a certification. Don't you think 4 years is long enough to get a certification?
I feel like Umar Johnson probably is thinking like that's like the low
private
hanging
schools
fruit, right?
need all that?
Like he can get that. You feel me? Like that's
Do
just
private schools need all of that type of stuff?
The school itself is a business,
Some don't.
so it needs a business
Okay,
license.
because I don't think he need none of that. He said that stuff at the beginning.
No, let's not mislead anybody here. As a business in every state, you have to have a business license. That's first. Second, to the capacity which you're going to function in, it may require you to have at least a certification. These are the questions that don't nobody want to talk about realistically. I mean, yeah, it's nice to think that, you know, he possibly could be in school or possibly have gone to school and got certified and just didn't say anything, want to tell anybody. But how likely is that if you're going to harp your 6 degrees, believe that out? So my assumption is unless you said you don't have it.
I
And
don't
what
think
is
he
he
needed.
going
He said
to?
at the beginning the reason why he wasn't going through the state or doing any of that because he don't want them interfering because he feels like
It doesn't have
institutional.
anything to do with feelings and want, though. This business. So if you're going to be a business, you can at least go and get your articles of incorporations filed and also get your core curricular audited by the school administration minimum. In lieu of getting a certified, because if you're going to be a principal, well, surely you have to be certified. You can't just walk into some establishment and go, I'm the principal.
Private institutions are not held to the same standard as public
Where
institutions.
did you get that information from? Because I am in university and that is not what we're being taught.
What you mean you in university?
I'm a graduate student. I'm in school for education. So no, we're not being taught that we could just be arbitrarily principals by virtue of our education. We have to get certified in the United States. There's no such thing as a non-certified principal that's legally practicing. Minimum. So
Let
where
me
did
go to
you
Google.
get your information from that says you don't have to be
Private institutions
certified?
and public institutions are not treated the same.
I understand what you're saying, but where did you get your
Oh,
information?
hold on. I'm gonna go to Google and I'm gonna get it and bring it back to you. Hold
Okay.
on.
All right.
So what I'm gonna say is, regardless of that, you still have to follow the thing that you do have to follow is federal guidelines. There are federal. You have to your curriculum has to have the core courses and guidelines of the federal government in order to open. If you don't follow the federal government, they're gonna shut you down, regardless if you accept funds from them or not. So that's for everybody. Charter school,
Oh
private
yeah.
school, you know, you still have to follow. You're going to have to follow some level of guidelines. You're not going to escape that, even as a private institution.
Hey, D, I have no worries about that, right? Again, like Umar Johnson was once an assistant principal. He was once, I believe, a principal as well. You know, he's a certified school psychologist. Listen, trust me, yo. Like in terms of the curriculum, the education part, I don't think there's anybody other than Umar Johnson who can prepare these kids, right? So I think for that part, we don't even have to worry. We know the curriculum, the education that's going to be handled, that's going to be on deck. All right now that's needed is for Negroes to donate more, right? For that man to, again, if like that man is saying, listen, we don't have enough, right? If just two rappers come and say, listen, Umar Johnson, here's $2 million each. Open up the school. The school be open up by tomorrow.
Come on, Flock. Stop.
He
right?
sounds serious.
Stop
He
it.
sounds serious. You know, he really.
As a matter of wait though. As a matter of fact, like we here do not talk about it enough. That there was an NBA player willing to give Umar Johnson everything he needs to open up the school, and then guess what? There was a female Negro, right, who came out and said that Umar Johnson was out here lusting, spending school money on her, and then that ruined the NBA player giving Umar Johnson the donation he needed, right?
That was his fault for that.
Well, again, somebody say that it's his fault, and somebody say it's her fault for lying and trying to slander him because she gave him some pussy.
I'm not going into the conscious stripper stuff. We
I got
5-6 years past that, so we're
So
gonna.
it's
Go ahead. Go ahead, Sanchez.
it's according to each state and private institutions. They don't have to have certified staff as long as they have one certified person on the staff.
Okay,
As long as
yeah.
they have
Who's
one certified person.
Who's going to be that certified staff?
Umar say he got
one
his
of the
people
teachers?
in line. He just not telling nobody. That's what
But
he
he
say.
needs to stop asking for public donations.
I mean, he can still ask for public
No, he
donation because you
cannot.
got people like
That's not
Flacco that's
legal.
still gonna
It's
keep
not
hope
legal
alive.
to ask for investors' money and then don't turn around and let them know about their investment. They have a legal right. They can sue him for that.
Well, he's gonna deal with the lawsuit
because he's not
investors are a little different,
their
right?
better interests. They have a right to be protected by their interests to
But those are
understand
investors,
what
though.
they're investing in.
I mean, I feel like there are gonna be people that's gonna,
we feel a lot of things, but it ain't business.
A lot of people gonna support Umar to the end, and that's their right.
It's not about Umar. See, that's what always come into play, the person. This ain't got shit to do with Umar. This is strictly about the business. That's it. If we start seeing things like that, then we can have a conversation. Until then, we're gonna always have this.
But they're not investors,
situation that deals with a whole person that has absolutely nothing to do with the business itself. These are two different entities.
But they're not investors though, because they donated through Cash App. That that'll make you an investor. You just donated. You feel me? Right now, again, an investor is listen, like I come to the board and to Umar Johnson, listen, man.
You're talking about
I want 5%, 10% of this. You feel me? Here's my money. But if you donated $15 through Cash App, you're not an investor.
If you're talking about donating a certain amount of money to maintain that school, they would be considered by law an investor.
Hell nah. Heck no. Who told you this?
Because that's the law. Anytime
no, they're donators, but not investors. Like they just did. You feel me?
A good job. Claim taxes or report taxes on. You can claim that you're an investor, and anybody with good business sense will claim that they were invested for some sizable amount. So if LeBron James gave this guy a donation for $2 million, he is then going to say, "What happened to my $2 million? I need to understand my investment." He has a right to do that.
Wait, D, be honest here, D. Right? Look, right, D. So if somebody donates through Cash App $15, $20, $100, are they an investor into FDMG?
The term that is used is donation. That's what he's using. So I don't know the legalities of that, but people feel that
$25 ain't gonna open a school. He's gonna need the millions. So if he's gonna ask for these millions from these superstars or whatever have you, they're going to be business minded because they're gonna have their peep on it, and they're gonna say, okay, if you're donating this sizable amount, you might as well make it into an investment. And if he's rejecting investments, then he's rejecting the funds that's gonna help him function. Because $15, $20, and $5 and $2 and some change is not going to run a multi-million-dollar organization. It's just not. So we're not talking about chump change. We're talking about real cash that could actually uprun this. See, we want to play too goddamn much. That's the fucking problem. We don't want to talk about this for real. We want to give this man a coddling situation where he could continue to spoon feed, just like I said at the top, the information that he cares to share and withhold information that's valuable to try and get a wider audience of people that can't actually donate a sizable amount. You know, I mean, give me a goddamn break. If he's not going to run a business, stop fucking talking about a goddamn business. It don't make no damn sense to be sitting up here calling this grown-ass man that obviously look like he's serious than a heart attack, a coronary bypass, a goddamn brain aneurysm. So if y'all gonna keep doing that, then it's just for entertainment purposes only. Ain't nobody serious, and no wonder people are dropping off like flies from this bullshit.
Right. So I'm gonna let Zone speak. Go ahead, brother. You wanted to say something?
Yes, I feel, and it's not gonna take too long. I feel like the two most important things that that people have a doubt with about Umar is the team and the finances. I don't feel the YouTube videos to be too counterproductive, but at the end of the day, it's just video. It's just media. And we don't want to be AFW here. Like, what would happen? Because I'm trying to create something that might raise money for something else, and as a byproduct of that, wouldn't it be motivating to Umar Johnson? Wouldn't we be able to feel confident a little more, or his supporters, if we had to some degree of protests near the FDMG Academy, basically, just to show Umar that the world is watching, and just to serve as motivation or last hurrah, basically, if other people could cover it, if it was profitable by some sense. Does anyone agree with this type of method, this Hail Mary here?
Anybody want to comment on that? I mean, what I'm gonna say is we're open to whatever solutions can potentially work. I'm not gonna say it could work or not, but we have to be open to that, and that's all I can say about that. I don't know.
Because we really want something that in which if there's a lot of people, right? If there's like theoretically hundreds of people, and this could be streamed, might be some money involved with, for example, black conservatives, like let's say the Jericho Green screams it, or Tatum or whatnot. I mean, we need to shine a spotlight on this, because we've been here this long. You might as well go all the way. Might as well take it to him in person, because a lot of people who criticize Umar, I mean, I've said it when I was on the other side. Either you stop him legally or physically, but this way, via a rally, it's combination of the two. Like, because I'm glad the Ms. Oracle pretty much said it. Like, we're not serious. I feel like my plan would be serious, right?
So let me make myself clear before.
Because I'm about to wrap up, so I'm gonna go ahead and give everybody a last thing, because I'm getting ready to wrap up in a second. But go ahead.
Okay, sure thing. Okay, before I go, let me make myself clear. I am not in a mission or interested in any mission to stop Dr. Umar Johnson from opening that school. That's not what this is about. This is about formation, serious formation that could get that business up and running viably. That's it. This ain't got nothing to do with personal attacks. I love Dr. Umar Johnson. He's a brilliant genius, and I do not want to see him stop his mission. The only thing I'm trying to do is build a bullhorn to give him a fucking wake-up call to stop this egotistic, narcissistic attitude, in my personal opinion, allegedly, and all of this is alleged, every bit of it, everything I say is alleged, okay? And get to the business at hand, put himself in order so he can show to the world that he's viable. James signing out, love and light. Love you, D. Darrell, in the chat.
All right, peace, Queen.
Have a good one, peace.
All right. Okay, Zone, you got any last words?
Yeah, I feel like I want a wake up call too. I think she was kind of somewhat saying that I want to stop Umar, but shining a spotlight and actually taking to the streets what many people say for BLM this or BLM that. I think that is the most important wake up call, especially if it gets a lot of people from YouTube. That's the most important wake up call that Umar Johnson could ever have at this point. I mean, it would be one thing if it was 2018 or 2019, but at Q4 and pretty much a little bit deep into the fourth quarter of 2022, he needs a loud bullhorn, a loud wake up call.
Okay, I get it. So hopefully he'll get it. We'll see. Okay, appreciate you for coming in, brother. All right, Chaos Rain, any last words, brother, before I wrap it up?
I guess I'll hit you up later, I guess, on some things to maybe talk about, possibly. I don't think I have anything else to talk about on here.
Okay, man. Appreciate you for coming in, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to appreciate everybody for coming in. I know I don't go live as much as I used to, but I do appreciate those that still find time to chop it up with me late on this Saturday night. Well, now Sunday morning is actually 12:01. Again, I would like you all to definitely check out my channel, Coach D. Darrell Spears channel, my dating channel. I would definitely like you to check it out. And I have videos that will be dropping tomorrow and on Monday and Tuesday. I'm talking about dating. I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about having productive, effective relationships, not the BS that goes on with people talking about crazy stuff about relationships. I'm going to go ahead and play the video so you can go and check it out if you have not subscribed to my Coach D Durrell channel. Hope you all can definitely subscribe and share the videos. So y'all have a great day, great night. I will be chopping it up with you all tomorrow. Peace.